Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. It's an episode here on Custom Car Bros, and in this episode we're going to be jumping back on the one wheel build. If you guys are new to the channel, you don't know what this is, but make sure you go check out part 1 so you can see exactly how we got to this stage right here. We built the chassis in part 1, we wired up the switch off camera, and we've also mounted the wheel, and we also figured out that this motor is unpowered. So our first order of business is a bigger motor. This thing is way bigger, and it turns out it pulls like 27 amps. So we're gonna need more batteries. So this thing's not gonna be getting tested in this video, but it'll be getting wired up. And this one's got a ton of torque. A lot of people use these for like electric drift trikes and things like that. It's a big motor. And if it gets too warm, I always thought we could water cool as well. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump right in to wiring it up. We need to wire up basically the switch. We need to wire up this power, like 12 volt to 24 volt step up. We need to wire that up, the switch up, and the batteries up. There's gonna be 4 batteries, but I only have 2, so we're gonna wire them all up so we can just plug them in on this side. So anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and stop talking and get working. Alright, so to start off, we're going to go ahead and take a paper and a pen, and we're going to go ahead and draw a basic diagram of where all the wires need to go, what connectors they need to have, and things like that. So that way we can jump right into the solder station and get it all soldered up. Alright, so we've got the adapter made. It goes from one T connector up here to 4 different battery connectors, and yeah, this took forever to make. Alright guys, so now we're going to go ahead and run some wires from this adapter that we just made. We're going to run them right to the switch. We'll then cut off the power before it gets into the system, and then after that we're going to run the other wire that comes off of this into this 12 volt to 24 volt step up converter, as well as we're going to be installing this quick disconnect I just cut off of some old wires, and basically it's going to actually shove right into here, and we'll have to drill a hole to fish the wires through like that, but that way I can disconnect and reconnect the remote. For the remote, we're going to be using an old drill trigger thingy, and we'll just be wiring that up to the switch. We have 6 wires here. We're only going to be using 4 for the actual motor itself, and 2 of them could be eventually for like a switch for like lights or something like that. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright guys, so we've got it all soldered up. Actually, we messed up when we were soldering this up. So the bigger wires are for 12 volts and the smaller ones are for the 24 volt output. So I didn't really know that, so it was my bad and I messed up. So that's why these got double solder on them, because I messed up. But anyways, looks really good, I still think. So we're gonna go ahead now and jump into Fusion 360 and design the little trigger thing that you hold when you're going places. So we're gonna go ahead and design that, and we'll meet right back up. Alright guys, so while we're letting that 3D print, we're going to go ahead and jump over here on our wheel, and we're going to remove the motor, and we're going to install this tube right here. This is like a normal tube for a lawnmower front tire. So we're going to be installing that, and we also need to install the bigger motor bolted on, and then we'll be good to go. So let's go ahead and let's jump right in. Alright guys, we've got it installed. The tire is all ready, but we ran into a gigantic, annoying problem. So when we were installing it, we noticed that one of these thingy-mabobbers, I don't know what they're called. Anyways, we figured out that was bad, but luckily I had a kit so I could repair it. So when I was taking the other one out and putting a new one in, I had it just like so, and I was tightening it like this, and then all of a sudden, pop, the whole freaking top came off. Oh well, we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, so we went ahead and we've got these printed. It's the next day. We printed these parts right here. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get to wiring. Alright guys, so basically we are done on the wiring side of things, but now we need to go ahead and mount on the big bad motor. This thing came in a couple of days ago, and now we need to go ahead and actually mount it. Now it's a lot bigger, it's a lot deeper, which is fine because it'll stick out more. We're gonna have to add this bar right here, weld it up kind of with those lines. I've already marked it out. So yeah, let's just go ahead though and jump right into welding. Alright guys, so we've got that welded on. We got this one welded on. We even went ahead and welded up some M4 screws. That'll actually mount this DC power converter right here, so that way you can bolt down. We may have to ground down some of the top fins because it just sticks up just the tiniest bit on the side. So we'll just have to grind a little bit off, but it'll be fine. So anyways, without further ado, let's keep on going. Alright guys, so it's the next day here on Custom Carbos on the one wheel build, and we're gonna go ahead now and see if we can figure out how to mount these wood pieces. I cut them off camera because it wasn't really exciting, but anyways, we're gonna go ahead and we're probably gonna drill some holes through the metal and then do some wood screws this way, or we'll drill a hole through the wood and then we'll just do a long self tapper. But anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and continue. Alright guys, so we've got the foot pads mounted, one on each side. We actually had to cut some of the bolts because they were a little long, but anyways, we got them mounted. Messed up there, I was drilling right into some welds, so that was my bad. But now we're gonna go ahead and take some grip tape. I ordered this off Amazon. Basically it's just like sandpaper, and we're gonna put that on. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. Alright guys, so we installed these mats, and that side looks absolutely horrible. Man, it's not very well done. But anyways, we ran into a problem when we were testing it, and that was that the wheel liked to wobble like this, and the motor was spinning without the wheel turning. And I looked at the gears and I figured out why. If you look, this is the new gear, and it's got double flat spots. The last one only had one flat spot, and they're different distances apart. So we're gonna go ahead now, take the whole wheel assembly back off, and we're gonna try to center this and weld it instead of having that washer. So that way we'll have ourselves full grip, and then that way we don't even have to run a washer on the motor. Should be stronger, should look better, and then while it's apart, we can also paint the wheel as well while we're waiting for the tire to come in. So anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's remove her. Alright guys, so it started smoking again, so we brought it outside, cooled it down with some water. We're still gonna let it cool down for a little bit, and then we're gonna go ahead and wire brush it, and then we're gonna paint it. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alright guys, so now we're going to go ahead and do like a final assembly without the wheel though, because it's drying. So we're going to do a final assembly and test all the electronics before we continue. So let's test it. That is awesome. Holy cow, this thing has so much torque. Like, it's ridiculous. And the nice thing about this is that since it was a drill, you can switch it all the way over and you have a reverse speed, which is really nice. I'm gonna redesign this remote off camera. But anyways, that's gonna be a wrap for today's video, because we were expecting to get our tire in today and actually get it ready for a test drive in the next episode. But in the next episode, we will be installing the tire and probably getting it driving. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. If it's already out, I'll link it down below. Be sure to smash that like button, that would be really cool. But just like that, this video is over, and I'll see you guys in part 3.